All right, we are live. So yeah, I think Josh is still out. I think he's gonna be out for a while because of the time zones.
Where is he at?
I thought he
Vietnam?
said he was in
Thailand?
Bali, right? With
Yeah, fun. You haven't been there, right? Have you
no,
been to Egypt?
no, I haven't. No, no.
Hmm.
I thought now you're not allowed to have unmarried sex in Indonesia, otherwise you can be prosecuted.
That's what I've
I,
heard in Bali, yeah.
I don't know how that if that's enforced or like doesn't that shut down the whole industry and all the hotels and
I mean, that's what all Australians like. The whole tourism is based on
right,
going and
exactly.
having fun. Like, it's
Yeah.
like you go into Vegas and you're like, oh, by the way, you can't have fun. Bali is kind of like Vegas. Like, the whole fucking system is based on that.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. But yeah, so what's been going on?
What's going on? Just having fun with this business here. Um, Running paid ads, basically. That's all I do full time now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what are we doing? Like, we're doing right around like this month, probably end up spending 20K on ads.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's currently what's going on with me, like making sure we're always on the cutting edge of our ads. Not cutting edge, let's just put it like that's um how would I say it? More and more, like, I realize my time is spent best on just working on ads and letting go of everything else. I was at a mastermind event and came across these. I think there were this couple who sells real estate education
Oh,
um, in England, and they're doing 1.5 million a month. And they started in 2016, 2017, selling real estate
wow.
coaching. And they're doing 1.5 million a month.
And it's all ads,
Yep.
nothing organic.
No, they don't really have any organic following per se. Then they have, of course, over time they've built multiple funnels like quiz funnel and this and that.
Right.
Started with a webinar first, and they still sell through webinar, $1,500 product. And then they sell like a $10,000 mastermind or something.
What's yeah, what new or what are the new ads that you're testing or what are you like what are you working on in terms of improving the ads?
What am I working on in terms of improving ads? Is using a lot more testimonials.
Uh,
Um, like finding more testimonials and using them. Yeah, testimonial bit is probably the part that's fun. That's like partly, man. I'm worried that um my competitors are probably going to be listening or finding out about me here and
yeah.
finding out what we're doing compared to what they're doing, because we have like 4 or 5 really solid competitors, especially with like funding. lots of funding, million, 2 million, 3 million. So it's kind of interesting, and also like, yeah, 4, 5, 6, I would say 4 or 5 for sure. So now it's like it's going to be a bloodbath soon, with more and more money coming into the space right now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You're going to have to find a key differentiator to compete on, a USP that is going to be significant enough to justify the price difference.
Yeah, which I do think we have, but at the same time, it's like there's a lot of different things we do, but it's more of like, I personally feel like, who's spending the most, or who can invest the most in customer acquisition ultimately, or who is doing that the most.
You know, be cool would be, because I was talking to Izair about this, because in the coaching call I had with him, he was talking about how like he was wasting the last couple of years of his life. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you're super productive, like you're working all this stuff. And he was like, no, not actually. He's like, I waste a lot of time during the day. And I was like, well, wait a minute, you're on focus blocks. What the hell are you doing on focus blocks? Are you just goofing off and pretending to work on the focus block? He's like, yeah. I was like, what? How? He's like, not all the time, but a lot of the time. And I was like, damn, like that's shocking. Like, I mean, I get it. I get the problem. Like, sure. So I was thinking about that. I was like, well, how can you solve that problem? I mean, the most apparent way, like, cause and then, you get on focus blocks sometimes, and there's some people that have some questionable objectives that they're going to do on the focus block, right? Where it's not really focus. It's like, I'm going to read this book or study for this thing. And it's like, it's stuff that's like, that's
well,
not
you have
really
to understand,
work,
like,
right?
User, partly, you're talking about User.
Yeah.
Partly also, like, he gets paid to run the block.
Oh yeah, I know, but he's trying to,
so if he's going to get paid to run the blocks, not every hour is he going to be at the top of his game or do his work. Sometimes he's just getting paid to do the block, so he's there to do the block, which
but his intention is to be focused on
that, but at the same time, like, it's important for him to make that money. So if there are times when he's there are times he's just there to run the block, not necessarily do his work, quote unquote. So
yeah, but I was thinking about like what would make this so that, like, I mean, one obvious one is if you shared your screen, right? Like, if you had to share your screen, then you can have the accountability. But not everyone can share their screen because they're working on personal stuff.
So I think this is where this is interesting, but I think that's just a misalignment of intent there. Other people who are showing up, they're not getting paid to show up, right?
Right.
They are paying to show up. So when they're paying to show up, they're not in the same mindset as someone who's getting paid to show up. You understand what I'm saying?
But I think people can get in the pattern of, just like even with Pomodoro techniques, some people can get in the pattern of where you set the timer and then you're still not focused, right?
And that's where we have Quantum Leap for those people who need a little more extra higher level of follow through and accountability.
But what if I could see where this is going? Like, what if you had AI, right? So people didn't have to share their screens, but they shared their screen essentially with the AI, which used image recognition to just figure out, are you actually working on your stuff or not? It'd be a real simple task for AI at the stage where it is right now to figure out, are you working on your stuff, right? Are you focused? Like, do you switch tabs are you watching Facebook videos or something like that, right? That would be, because and it's also like where everything is going right now, right? So if you could develop some kind of integration with Zoom to have like an AI accountability or even just AI accountability in general, right? That's like a huge potential, because AI definitely is smart enough at this point to figure out are you actually working on what you said you're working on?
That's interesting.
But I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. That's interesting. Now, there is a question mark here, which is, are we solving a problem that people actually have? So,
I mean, I have the problem. Uzair has the problem. I don't know. I mean,
Uzair has the problem because of a different context, because he's getting paid to be on the block. That's a different thing.
I mean,
But from our user's perspective, is that really a problem? I haven't seen that, or I haven't heard that yet from people who actually pay to show up.
right.
That's not necessarily a problem per
It's
se.
Yeah. It might be though. I mean, I would say that, based on human nature and what I know is that there's probably,
Well, you have the problem because you don't show up on public block.
well, even when I guess
No,
that's
it's
true.
not allowed. You can't say that.
Yeah.
If you show up on public block, then that problem goes away pretty easily.
Well, let me
Or
ask you this question. Do you
80%
ever
of
have
the
this problem?
Okay, I have that problem maybe 10% of the time compared to before
Okay.
focus blocks. That was a problem 90% of the time.
Okay. Fair enough.
So that was a problem all the time before focus blocks. I was like so distracted, like I could easily be doing, oh, let me do this, let me do that. It's all over the place. And now
Right.
it's more like maybe 5 to 10% of the time I would catch myself very quickly, like, oh shit, I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing, and go back to it. So
Right.
effectively, that's like, it's that corner problem that is like, it's got marginal utility at that point for us, for me to solve that problem, because most users don't necessarily have that as the burning problem to solve right now. The bigger problem definitely is the quantum leap problem, which is
Right.
doing the most important thing.
Right.
And that's why actually Quantum Leap exists. And Uzair was on Quantum Leap, and he made tons of progress when he was at Quantum Leap, and then he canceled because he couldn't afford it. And
Right.
he did it a couple of times. So, but yeah, he joined Quantum Leap because he wanted clarity on his goals and acceleration, and he got that. And I don't know where he's at again with his goals now, but yeah. That's interesting though, like it's some sort of a software integration or something that allows for a better use case or a better outcome for the user specifically. That's what we're talking about here. This is just one of the many examples, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think definitely there's a good case for using AI for accountability. Something. Well, for accountability specifically, right? Because it's very well, think about it this way, right? So what did Uzair do right now, right? He hired a guy from the Philippines for $4 an hour to for 3 hours a day to watch him work. Right. So that, like, if that's useful, and remember the story, the old story which you use in your webinars before, of the guy that hired someone to smack him, right? Like to sit off of Craigslist, to sit in a coffee shop and smack him if he wasn't working. That's what AI can do for you, right? Like it's an easy job for AI to look at your screen and be like, all right, no, you're not working, or you're not typing fast enough. Like you must be daydreaming, like you're you said you're going to do this task, but you're working on this other task. Like I can clearly see that, what I mean? Like, so I think that that would be useful.
The problem, okay, so here's where this gets interesting. I just want to actually think about Uzair's problem. The problem with Uzair is, from what I've heard now, isn't so much whether he is quote unquote productive during the hours now. His bigger problem is he's not always focused on the most important things.
Right.
And that allows him to use his hours in most indiscriminate manner, or in manners that are not necessarily useful to his business, and which doesn't get solved by hiring anyone to sit next to him and slapping him, but more like making sure he's doing the highest leverage things. And that is something that Unfortunately, that is not the clarity that Focusbox is designed to give you. That is
Right.
where Quantum Leap comes into play. So what he's trying to do is solve the wrong problem, in my opinion, knowing him.
Well, I mean, he like when we went through the call yesterday, he was talking about, or the day before yesterday, he was going over like how he was not actually doing, like he was goofing off, doing other stuff that was, just not being productive at all, just sitting in front of his computer and playing around on the computer and stuff like that. He's supposed to be working. So, which I mean is a common problem that everyone has, right? So that's but I don't know. I mean, I think that, I mean, you could definitely have a solution where you're training, like if you have something like an AI assistant that is having you prioritize your tasks and going through the process of helping you break them down, and then is monitoring them, making sure that you're working on the most important things. I think that you could definitely do.
Mm.
But
Mm. That's interesting. Getting AI to solve um, just give me a second here.
yeah. Oh, your audio is not working now.
Yeah, there's an interesting problem to AI accountability. If that thing could actually hold you accountable, really, in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, I mean, the funny thing, here's the thing now. Um, given how pervasive this thing is getting now, like it's getting written up in all the big news media outlets nowadays, as you see, TikTok videos on it and New York Times talking about it and all those things. This is very interesting time for this business to exist along with other competitors. And I feel like there's way too many trade secrets, or there were too many things that are like cannot be openly discussed anymore for me personally.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because I would love to fill you on all the background stuff, but I just don't think it's good, because there are just way too many, like, here's what's happening in this game. Like there's just little things, little nuances, like you figure out this, you figure out that, you figure out this, and suddenly you are way faster in you're way better in your customer acquisition, or way better in customer. Like if I could hear all of my competitors like this on a weekly basis,
Yeah.
I'd get a huge leg up on that.
You think it would make that much of a difference? I mean,
Oh yeah.
is the space that big? I guess there's a huge difference between once you get into the paid space and organic, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
organic doesn't really, you really don't have competitors.
Organic is more arts.
Yeah, because you don't have competitors, because even if you had 5 companies that were doing the same thing, it's brand loyalty. It's like you're attracting people based off you're not competing in the same pool of ads right?
Yeah.
Not the same eyeballs.
Yeah. Like if I could listen to my competitors talk about their numbers behind the scenes and exactly what's going on
Yeah.
with their acquisition and all those things, I could do a lot more fun things with the business, because then I would know exactly what's going on and what they're doing and how they're, like, if I knew exactly what their churn rates are, what their retention rates are, what their CPA is, what their current cost of advertising is, like, that would be huge for me, because then what those numbers give me is very clear metrics of what we should go after. Otherwise, it's just like whatever,
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
right? So if I know exactly what's going on in their businesses, I would be much more, you know, uh, it would allow me to move this business in a different, like, faster way. Like, it's just learning. It's just like, what is AI? AI is all learning.
Right.
It's learning from all the different sources out there to give you the best data set, best information, best possible answer. And if you knew what your competitors are doing, how much funding they have, how much they are burning through every month, how much they are spending to acquire customers, how big their team is, what all their team is doing, what they're doing on operations and fulfillment and PR and all of those things, that would be pretty good information. So I feel like I could talk about everything else but the numbers or anything detailed inside the business at this point. Like, not on a public forum anymore, just because of the nature of competition.
That makes sense. I mean, I guess that leaves us with a few options. And with this podcast is one, we can keep it going as is, just not get into the details, just talk about the larger business strategies and ideas.
Or we take it private, in which case it's way more fun. We can be way more liberal with our conversations,
Yeah,
and we can be way more, incisive
that's true. Yeah, that's
with
option
the
two.
kinds of, because sometimes when it's public, it's very difficult to be very vocal about certain things. But when it's private, and I don't feel bad about, like, you don't feel bad about hurting my feelings, I don't feel bad about hurting your feelings or anyone's feelings in a public forum. It's more, actually, it's easier. So that's how yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was good while we were doing, well, frankly, while I was doing 2000 books and stuff, because it was a smaller game. This game is way too big now. Like, with the amount of money these fuckers have,
Yeah,
way too much money. Like, I've been looking at some of the funding, and, like, if they spend that kind of money in next 6 months or a year, or in the next 2 years or 3 years, we have a lot of problems. There's no way we can be the winner in that space if they can spend that kind of money.
well, I mean,
There's only so many eyeballs available at any given time, right? And there's only so much advertising space that's available, that's competing for the same concept or idea, if you want to think about it that way.
yeah,
So we're competing in each other's feeds. So yeah, I'm like, openly sharing these numbers are now, like, it's dangerous for me. But I would love to, like, if we go offline, I'd love to talk of all things about where we are, and how things are
Yeah.
going, and what all we're doing, and what, like, open up the whole back end and show you what's going on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe we should take this offline. I know a lot of people, I mean, it's not like there's a lot of people that follow the podcast, but there's some diehard fans that
There are some
will
diehards, and
be
I
disappointed,
appreciate
but
them very much, and they've been great supporters over the years.
yeah,
But frankly, I mean, we got to do what's right for our business, just like what you were saying in the video yesterday, right?
yeah,
You're doing a lot of different things, and they didn't always serve the highest one purpose that you had in mind, because you just, and yeah, I mean, this is good, but does it truly, like, could going private make this better for us overall? That's the question. Could going private also allow us to get maybe one or two more
Right.
people who would be very heavy, like would be very influential or would be very useful in our businesses? Because a lot of people will not come on a public forum like this, to be honest.
That's true. Yeah.
Could going private get us like a couple more really smart guys who want to talk about this in behind closed doors and give
Yeah.
each other high quality feedback?
Yeah. No, I think that makes sense.
I'm sure you're going to
Okay.
get a lot of hate mail on this in your emails. I'm sorry to you, Joe. Sorry, Richie. Sorry, Uzair. I know you guys all are listening to us right now. But anyways, Joe and Richie, you get to hear from me anyways every week. I share all the behind the scenes with you guys, whatever you need, because they're in my mastermind.
Right. Yeah.
And Uzair, of course, you're welcome to ask me anytime because you're on my coaching calls. So that's my three people that I feel accountable to. That I feel like they want to hear about this. But frankly, I think there's so much more we can do when we go behind doors, closed doors, and really nuance stuff and not feel bad about making someone look bad in public because that's never the intent, but it could happen. And so I have to be careful with what I say sometimes because I'm like, oh, that maybe doesn't sit right with someone's audience, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Kind
I'm not too worried about that, but I mean, I think the bigger case is like you said, of the business, the numbers. And it is true that we have struggled getting people to join the group or stay in the group because of the numbers, right? Like people don't
Mhm.
want to share numbers publicly, which I mean, I don't have any problem sharing numbers publicly, but
Yeah,
I can
you're in the
understand
personal
that.
brand thing.
Yeah.
It's a different thing, but yeah, most of the bigger businesses, right? Or most of not bigger, but most of like
Yeah.
people, like as you said, advertising space. As soon as
Yeah.
advertising comes into play and CPAs and all those numbers come into play, suddenly games change
Yeah.
because now you're competing on the same numbers.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. All right. Well, I guess we should shut it down or basically go private, take it private. So,
Oh, that's great. I love it.
yeah.
um,
I'd like
so
to change the time to 1 hour later as
yeah,
well. This
that
way.
works for me. One or whatever time works for you, to be honest.
Yeah.
We can,
Because I want to make my focus time 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every day.
Mm,
And I've got it almost every day. I just need to move a couple of coaching calls, and this is the only other thing I need to move. And then
yeah.
and then that's my plan is that I just need to start jumping on some focus blocks to do work on there now that I've got focused time.
On one thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like your video. I guess today is the last episode in that case. And
Yeah.
maybe we can talk about your video and we can just say, maybe we'll come back one of these days just as an update in the
Yeah.
future. But yeah, your video is really good. I think it creates, we're talking about the most recent video, it creates that um, much as it defines a concept, it also creates responsibility on you to carry through and show that it actually worked, right? So it's like a quantum leap situation for you. Now you put yourself in that requirement, in that demanding environment. So you're going to follow through and make it happen because you've told the world, my goal is to hit 100K views on a video this year. That means you better freaking do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good. I like that goal. It makes it very clear. Yeah, how's
Yeah.
the video doing? You got 4 or 5K? Already beat the last video?
Yeah. It's at 4.5K. Where's the last video? I think the last video is at 5 something right now, which is also another high quality video, the divorce video. But the metrics on this look, better. It's getting there faster, right? Yeah, it's almost already beat. Like the last video is at 5.5K. So
Nice.
yeah, so this one and that last video and that video was twice as good as the average, and this is twice as good as that one. So as long as they keep doubling, then then I'll be in good shape. But yeah, tons of comments on that video, on this latest video, like just ridiculous number of comments. A lot of people coming out saying, oh, I hadn't watched your videos for a while, I'm subscribing now, so
Nice.
yeah, so it's all the metrics look really good on that. On that video alone is like 20, it's showing plus 26 subscribers, so that's good. Click-through rate is now around 9.6%. At first it was like 11-12%. So
Yeah, that's great.
average view duration is 5 minutes and 36 seconds. So
Average
still
view
don't know.
duration is 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Should be
so
longer,
about
right?
I mean, it's a almost 18-minute video. So average view duration is 5 minutes and 36 seconds. So I would expect it to be a little bit longer
That's what I was
based on
thinking.
that, but
Yeah.
it's about a minute and 2 more than usual. So it's still beating the average.
I guess
by a minute.
YouTube only cares about the total view time, not necessarily the ratio. It probably does care about the ratio too.
I think so, yeah, because it wants to know. I mean, I think
How
there's a lot of
engaging.
signal. Well,
Yeah.
you got to think about it this way, right? Everything is I don't think anyone could even definitively tell you what the algorithm cares about, because it has to be an AI algorithm at this point, right? It has to be AI. It's machine learning, right? It's like, so it probably takes in 100 inputs, right? Everything from click-through rate to how long they viewed it to how many people thumbs up did and how many people commented, and in what other videos, like, is this person a person who easily likes videos? Do they not easily like all of those? If you think about it, like if you were designing an AI system, I mean, if you use machine learning, all you have to do is like figure out all the inputs, right?
And it keeps getting better. You just almost like,
The only thing I'm worried about is that my channel might be shadow banned on YouTube. I may be getting artificially like suppressed because this video, like, if I had a brand new channel and I produced this video, I feel like it would have just taken off like a rocket. But I don't know.
You might have to claw your way back out of it. Is what you're saying.
That's what I'm thinking, is that I think what will happen is over time, kind of my strategy is that if I keep on producing these high quality videos at this standard level, then what would happen is that more and more people who are subscribers will watch every single video that comes out, and it'll get exposed to maybe a little bit more people, and those people will keep watching the videos, and then that will trickle up over time.
Yeah, this will trickle over time. That's true. Yeah. It's true. You could even make, this will trickle over time. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I did an A/B test with that, or I have an A/B test running on the previous video, like we were talking about yesterday, on the divorce video, and I have a new title for it. Let me see. Let me look in the A/B test. I didn't change the thumbnail on it yet. I'm just testing the title. So the original title was I Lied to You, I Was Married and Divorced. And then I'm testing a variation title of Warning, Don't Get Married Unless You Watch This. So I think that'll be a much more widely applicable title. So we'll see how that goes.
I agree. Or Warning, Don't Get Married. There's always like, I'm not saying you use that title, but there's a reason, there's angle. Because what's happening right now, the way I see it from an outsider, if I never knew you, it'd be hard for me to click on any of those videos.
Right.
Because I don't see what's in it for me. I feel like you're telling your story, right? When you say divorce, you're just talking about divorce. I don't know what's in it for me.
Right.
And if you say I wasted 5 years of my life, you're just talking about you. I don't see what's in it for me yet.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're thumbnail testing, I would definitely thumbnail test the hell out of both of these videos, because that would get some clarity on what kind of stuff people really care to watch. But I feel like currently the way the thumbnail is structured, it is designed for you to tell yours, like the way you're positioned is, I'm telling my story, listen to me.
Right.
But the videos I end up clicking on a lot of times, it's more like, oh, this seems interesting. I don't know who this guy is, but this is interesting, right? because people who know you is a small percentage. The people who don't know is billions of people.
Well, and my initial thoughts with releasing the video the way was exactly what you said, was that I wanted to make a video that all my subscribers would watch, right?
Mm,
That people who
mm,
knew me would watch,
mm,
because it was like, people had wondered about this. They had questions, not
mm,
just people who are my subscribers, but people in the general like manosphere space, right? That knew me, right? So, you have the regular watchers of my channel, and then you have which is a small circle, and then you have the people who know me, which is a large
mhm.
circle, right? And so I figured that would cause that to go viral. But at this point, that part has worn off, right? It kind of worked. It didn't quite work, right? I mean, it definitely got more views than the average video. But at this point now, transitioning to the wider appeal makes sense, like we were talking about yesterday, because I've already, the people who were, who knew me have already watched the video, right? So, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
see some chat. A lot of people are disappointed about us taking it offline. Look at it.
I get it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I know.
but
Yeah,
I mean, you guys are welcome to be part of John's group or my group or whatever when it comes to
yeah.
learning about business in a different way. I get it.
People want me to add it as a supplement to Bulldog Mindset, but the problem with adding is that it still doesn't, unless they're talking about like in the Bulldog Mindset membership, which I guess that could be, but I don't know. I still don't think that like,
that doesn't take away completely the privacy concerns that we have, which is like just
right.
keeping it private, closed doors.
Yeah. George says the podcast is worth so much. Lou wants to post it to the Bulldog Mindset community.
Yeah.
I think Drew is saying post it and you can charge members for it. I'd pay for a premium version.
Yeah, I mean, it's not worth the money. That's what I'm trying to say, right?
That's the thing. It's not like, because what would we charge for this and how much? Like, let's say we charge $100 a month to access the Bulldog Mindset, or to access our developer. I forgot what we even called this, Entrepreneur Mastermind podcast, right? So let's say that we got, I don't know, there might be 20 diehard fans that would pay $100 a month. I don't think the diehard fans would even pay $100 a month, but let's just assume. So that's $2,000 a month. So, we split that 3 ways. No, it doesn't. It doesn't even make any sense. Not even
worth it for us.
Yeah, if it even costs you, 1 or 2 sales, it's not worth it to you. Like, so
exactly, one sale is worth more to me than $600.
Not that we don't like giving back to the community and helping people out, but I mean, that's where, I mean, my avenue of doing that is through my YouTube channel with the free content, where I'm putting my focus on,
Yeah. I mean, like, there are ways where we can talk about a topic and talk about, like, dissect a topic without going personal in our businesses, and that's totally cool, right? But going personal in our businesses is where things get a little problematic. Is what, like, we can still kind of talk about more broad strokes of business, and that way it doesn't really matter. But if we have to talk personal about the numbers and behind the scenes, that's where it gets tricky. And that's where, like, for anyone who's listening, like, or anyone who's kind of like, oh no, it's going away, I feel you. But it's like the thing we have to do in service of our business. I feel, and frankly, if, like, and by the way, I'm not trying to sell in any way, shape, or form. I don't care. Like, that's the least of my worries, to enroll anyone in my mastermind, or enroll any, like, John has a mastermind, I have a mastermind. If you really truly have a business and you really truly want to understand, like, how to grow a business, then you're welcome to join my mastermind or John's mastermind, right? Like, that's really where you will get the most accountability, support, training, all of that stuff. And I'm not trying to sell you guys on it, frankly, not, because my focus is really on Focus Blocks. I mean, I haven't sold my mastermind to publicly in any way the last 1 year, because I don't care to. People come because they know about it or they have heard about it on Focus Blocks, but I don't necessarily sell it. I'm just saying that if you truly wanted that kind of help, or higher tier help, then that is also available to you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, not selling it to you. I don't care if you buy ever. I'm just letting you know that that exists out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I mean, the other alternative, which some people are kind of suggesting, is like we turn this into a general business podcast, like where it's not a mastermind, but we're just talking about business stuff. And like, you know, like there's a few of those podcasts, but the problem with that, I think, of it not being specific is that, I mean, what are we going to do? Like have episodes where we're like, all right, how would you start a business today? I mean, sure,
And it
we
has
could
to
do that,
serve
but
your business or my business or
right.
Josh's business. It won't serve, right?
Because
It will just be
just like my
your-
video about split focus, it's like this is one other thing that we're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
as much as it might be fun to do something like that, we're not really building a business around a podcast.
Mm,
And you know, especially this podcast, like if we were to reboot this podcast completely and start over from scratch and make a brand new podcast, focus
mm.
on business, I mean, that would
And
be
even
something,
then,
but
like it has to serve,
right.
like in that case, you would ask yourself if that serves building your business or my business at that point, right?
Right. Well, I mean, you're building a different business at that point if you're doing that, right? And then
Exactly. That would be a
it,
completely different game.
and if you were to start a podcast today, right, you would need to do it in the right way, right?
Mhm.
Like there's no point in half-assing a podcast, right?
Mhm.
It's just, you know, because you want to have really like the most successful podcasts today, like video podcasts, are in a studio live, right? That's the thing with guests.
High
with, you know,
quality
yeah,
video.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I get the arguments that people are saying. The main benefit is it gives amateurs a benefit of business theory crafting, and I get it. But again, those things do exist also in our private communities as well, where we can talk about those.
And that's the other side of this equation too. Like sometimes, yeah, I get it. I totally understand. I wish I had something like this when I was starting, to be honest. And it is good. Like if you guys go through the last 3-4 years of this stuff, there's
Yeah.
so much you will learn just from all of that stuff. And beyond that, those last 3-4 years are so good. Like that should get you to 6 figures anyways.
Yeah,
And if you're already
exactly.
at 6-figure
Yeah.
mark, then you should join, potentially be part of John's mastermind or my mastermind or any other mastermind for that matter. As I said, I'm not trying to sell anything here to anyone, but I'm just saying that there is so much knowledge back in the back. There's so much good stuff in the backlog of the last 5 years that we have recorded this stuff and the evolution of business that's happened. That's good enough for the first 6 figures, to be honest.
Yeah.
Now we're
Yeah.
talking millions, and now it's a different game because I got public attention. My competitors know me. Your competitors are. It's a different game you're playing, but you know, like every competitor knows me now, and they know what's going on. So
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, I guess and you know, if we have the backlog out there, I think, which I'll leave that up, I'll leave the backlog out there of episodes and stuff so that people can go through that. But it's interesting too, like when it started to, like, kind of the purpose was, I mean, when I was starting out, when I really started this, I guess I've been on this the longest, was I was starting my entrepreneurial journey, and it was helpful to have a mastermind to like help you get through those hurdles, and like when you feel defeated and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that's not still helpful now, but it's a different stage. Like we're all at different stages of that growth. But yeah, but I mean, but people, I think the biggest thing is that the people that are listening to us, what they really need to do is build their own mastermind. Right. That's what's going to benefit them more than anything else. Right. It's like you can listen to us
or
for,
build their own business and get it to 6 figures.
right. Well, but I'm saying build your own mastermind when you're building your business so that
Oh
you
yeah,
have
yeah,
other
for
people that
sure.
you're working with, that, you know, because that's the thing, is like,
You're
you
bouncing
know,
ideas off of.
yeah, the value of the mastermind, right?
Yeah.
Like everything that we've talked about here is enough to get anyone started and get them to, you know, to build a successful business where they could quit their job. I think there's enough wealth of information from all these episodes, you know, to do that. So
Yeah, exactly. So, I I'm looking at the comments and I feel bad, but at the same time, I do believe that there is plenty of knowledge depth that will get you to six figures in those episodes over the 400 episodes.
Yeah.
John, you've been a part of, I've probably been a part of 200 of those. So yeah, there's a lot of great stuff in there, and you'd see evolution of business in a way that over 5-6 years now that we've done together.
But yeah, but that last video, like I said, the quality level of that video is kind of the standard now. In fact, it can get better. I mean, there's still some things that need to be improved in that, but I feel like I made the leap from, you know, shitty videos basically to pretty much what the top YouTubers are doing. Like maybe not, you know, Mr. Beast level, definitely not at that level, right? But of all of the other top YouTubers that are like general, you know, YouTubers in this space, I think I leaped at least to their level. So and that's one thing I was talking about actually in my group, was that like an obvious, and here's something, you know, just an obvious way to become successful at something is to literally just be at the same level as someone else. Like if you're doing what someone else is doing and they're successful, you'll be successful, right? So if you're creating videos, in fact, actually I have a good example of this from my coaching call. Check this out. Let me share this real quick here. Okay. This one's going to blow your mind, right? But this is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So, okay, this guy is in my coaching program. Okay. He's in the Well That Never Runs Dry, right? So, okay, take a look at his videos. Okay. And see if you see the outlier here.
Yeah, very colorful. Okay. Yeah.
Take a look at the view count.
Yeah, one of them doesn't even have a thumbnail title.
But look at this last video.
Yeah, no thumbnail title.
9.7K views.
Exactly.
And all the other ones were like 69, 100 views, you know, 14 views, right? And this one blew up to 10K views. So the difference here is we had a coaching session. He was on the Well That Never Runs Dry coaching call, and I gave him tips on how to make his videos better. And then the very next one he produced got.
Wow.
So what I told him primarily to do was to go and look at the other kid kind of channels that were out there, and what does their thumbnail look like? And then what does the beginning of their video look like? What did they start the video with? Like, what's their intro? And just do what they're doing. Like, don't copy them exactly. Like, don't copy, you know, but copy the idea, the timing, like every single element that you can copy, because we know that it works, do it, right? And bam, right? So it's kind of interesting. So it's like the same thing, you know, if I make YouTube videos that are of the level of these guys that are producing, you know, that are getting 100K views per video, then I will get 100K views per video.
There's always someone bucking the trend. So I want to share, I just shared with you this YouTuber who's blown up. Like I've literally seen her grow from 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers to this now in less than 6 months, probably.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. Like if you look at the production quality, there's nothing. Just in her room, soft lighting. That's
okay.
it.
But let's actually, that's a good example. So because the subtleties is something I didn't understand until I started producing high quality videos, right? Sure, my video had a nice like drone shot on a mountain and all of that stuff, but that's not that important. I mean, that's fun, it's impressive, right? But literally I could have made the same video just sitting here and made it so much better. But I'm guessing just by her thumbnails and titles that this quality is hidden. Let me just take a quick look here.
Well, the quality is hidden. It's like there isn't really much effect or much effort on production as much as it is just on like making I think scripting probably is a big part of what she does. but it's just like one shot, right? One shot.
Right.
The whole video is one shot, and all the videos are on that one shot, right? It doesn't change. Same situation. And of course, she has some background little tidbits here and there.
Well, here, let me
And
take a look. Here, let me just share the sound real quick. Just a little bit of the video.
every month
See.
without sacrificing on my quality of life. So let's get into what they are. Number one, switching bank account. This is such an obvious one, but so few
Here, let's
people
do
do
it
it. By opening a
faster.
high interest bank account, you could earn almost 10 times the national average of
Okay.
a basic current account.
So, okay, just from the beginning, right? It seems like there's not much going on, right? I mean, some of it is the editing, but
Hi everyone,
right?
welcome back to the
Okay,
channel.
so first of all, right? It's a clean setup, a good shot. Okay.
Mhm.
The lighting is like, there's so much attention that's been paid to the lighting here to make the
Mhm.
shot look good, right? There is a key light in front of her that's on the right hand side. She's got it looks like she probably has a hair light here because she's standing out from the background. She's using a lens that is creating a background blur, so a high f-stop lens there. And then she's got this little light in the back, and that little light in the back actually makes a huge difference because it makes the background stand out from the foreground, right? And she's
Mhm.
also angled the camera in such a way that she's got depth that you can see. Like the bookshelf is not straight on, it's angled, like all these things. Like, so you can see this is a corner of a room. That's very specific,
Mhm.
right? All those things matter, right?
In this video, I'm sharing with you 10 things you can do to keep more of what you make. Doing these 10 things, of which most of
Okay, even right there, right? Just that was a crop in shot. So she had a wider shot. She cropped in for the edit.
them take less than 5 minutes, has left me with so much more money left over every month without sacrificing on my quality of life.
It's obviously it's completely scripted, right?
Mhm.
So there's a
Completely
huge
scripted.
amount of
Let's get into
effort
what they
put
are.
into
Number one,
that.
switching bank account.
You know,
This
transitions.
is such an obvious one, but
obviously,
so
like,
few people do it. By opening a
see the subtle zoom,
It's pretty
high interest bank
basic, is
account,
what
you
It's
earn
a
I'm
almost 10
saying.
times
gradual
the national
zoom
average
into
of a
her
basic current account.
face,
Many online or
right?
Sure,
She's
but
got
that's like
B-roll
only
here.
accounts offer
that's
even higher
done
rates
in
because they have lower
video, not done on camera.
What's that?
The
That's
zoom
done in editing. Yeah.
yeah, it's done in editing, not on
overheads.
camera.
And so to make
So
the most
what
of
I'm
your
saying
money,
is,
put your
if
emergency
she's
fund and
done, this is basic
your income straight into
video
a high interest
stuff
savings
that
account
she's
that's easily
doing.
accessible. And then for your long-term savings
Right. But look at, I mean, every couple of seconds, there is
There's
B-roll.
B-roll.
goals that you don't need to access
Right.
at least for the next year or
Sure.
two, consider putting that
B-roll,
into a fixed rate account
transitions, but the
that
basic,
typically offers
like the
even
video
higher
is very
interest rates.
basic.
There is,
in
however, an
terms
exception
of
to this rule where switching
back-end,
to a high interest
like,
savings account might actually make you worse off. And I'll go
Yeah,
into that
you
in a bit
don't
more
have
detail
to
later in this
have
video.
like
Number two, reshuffle your energy
the
consumption.
super, you know, crazy stuff. But what I'm saying is that but that's also why it's like it's arguable. It's definitely arguable that the quality of video that I just produce is way higher than this quality, right?
yours is way higher. I agree.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which
Yours is way higher.
makes me nervous that I'm hurt in the algorithm and I should just start a new channel, but I'll give it the 10 videos. And
No,
see
no,
what
no,
happens.
no. I don't think that is like, oh shit, I need to go soon. I have to start a block. But also it helps that she's a good-looking girl and she has this British accent, which doesn't really matter because you have American accent. But yeah, really interesting. Like she has one video that's blown up to 6.3 million.
Yeah. Yeah. Count and explains money habits keeping you poor. Right.
And
But
she's a total of like 30 videos on her channel. She has
Yeah.
470 subscribers, 430K.
But you got to think about like every single one of these videos. It's like there's so much that goes into, like she's putting in even, you know, the aerial shots and all that stuff that I put into this last video and scene changes and stuff like that. That's all not really necessary. Like I want to do it because I want to take it to the beyond the next level. But the key things is having a good script that you've edited, that you've tightened up to the point where you're making very succinct points, that you can
Scripting is
deliver
key.
that script to the camera properly, that your lighting in your at least one scene is shot well, that you have editing with significant B-roll to keep things interesting and illustrate your points, right? It's like it's all about communicating the point as effectively and concisely as possible while keeping the viewer entertained. And like if you can do that, but there's so much that goes into that, where I would watch a video like this before and say, oh, that's so simple. Like, what is she doing that I'm not doing? I'm in front of the camera. I'm talking to the camera. I have an editor. No, it's night and day difference, right? Now I'm trying to leapfrog all those people by taking it to the next level. I'm trying to get to where the next level of that, so that I'm ahead of the game. But there's so much just difference between what I was doing before and what she's doing here, that it's an order of magnitude of like 5 orders of magnitude more quality of her videos than what my old videos were. So
Yeah, Yeah. I mean, I'm excited about your new format. I'm excited about the new video style. And I think it's already showing results way
Yeah.
better than what was happening. So
Check
it's
this
gonna be
out.
a
Let me
fun
see
journey.
if I can get you or do I have, oh yeah, let me see if we got time real quick. The next video that's coming out,
Okay, I'm
I-
gonna have to talk to you on our coffee time together
okay,
because I gotta run start the block right